Next, we will talk about some of the problems with these activation functions. So let us start with sigmoid and tanh. So first of the things that I said was sigmoid lies between 0 to 1. So it gives less focus when it comes to negative values. So we had tan h which lies between -1 to 1. One problem with both of this was they were hard to compute. And the other problem that we are going to discuss now is the vanishing gradient problem. So what exactly is the vanishing gradient problem? If you remember, while calculating the loss with respect to the weights, what we did was backpropagation, that is, we calculated the loss with respect to the output of the first one, then the output of the first one with respect to the output of the second one, so on. This was the whole idea of backpropagation, right? So, think about this. Sigmoid lies between 0 to 1. So, suppose we have a sigmoid value of 0.1. Suppose all these values are 0.1. So, if we multiply all of them together, we are left with this. So, what we do is we then update it. So, equal to W old minus eta times of 0.001. Let's suppose our eta is also 0.1. So, we are left with right? We have to subtract the old weight from this weight. This number is such a small value that our new weight will be quite similar to the old weight. So it has not been updated a lot. That means the gradients that we are calculating are so small that on multiplying one with the other, what is happening is the actual value is vanishing and we are left with nothing. So if we think about the graph, and if our old weight is pretty close to the new weight, what will happen is we will never be able to reach here at the lowest minima. So this is the problem that we had with sigmoid and tan h functions. This was known as the vanishing gradient problem. That is why we were introduced to the concept of ReLU. What ReLU did was maximum of 0, z. So this was the graph. Then I told you about the problem with ReLU. So what was the problem with ReLU was the dying ReLU problem. So what happens is if the value is greater than 0, you will always get the differentiation equal to 1. But if the value is less than 0, what will happen is if any of this value becomes 0, the whole thing becomes 0. So let's suppose I am activating this part here. If while differentiating one of the output here becomes 0, the weight that is used here, like here or maybe here, this will become 0. There will be no update in the weight. It will be as equal to the new weight. So we will not be able to update this weight. So this connection will be of no use. So this was the problem of dying ReLU. So we came across another activation function, parameterized ReLU and leaky ReLU. So what happened here, instead of 0, we wrote maybe alpha z or z, or this alpha is if equal to 0.01, it becomes leaky ReLU. This was the statement. Okay, nice and easy. Another problem with ReLU was here this is not a continuous function. So while differentiating, it is not differentiable at 0. So this was one of the problems. Hence we came across Swish functions. This was released by Google and the paper was released by Google, and this was a very simple thing. This was x into sigmoid of x. It took best of both features, both the ReLU and sigmoid, to form this, and it gave a 1% extra accuracy when it came to ImageNet. Okay, well and clear. So now let us talk about where to use which activation. So this is very important because there are so many activations, we don't know where to use what. So let us look at some of the generalized ways. So we should avoid sigmoid and tanh should be avoided. This is because of the vanishing gradient problem. Next, we can use ReLU for most problems. It is a very versatile activation function and it is used for most problems. If ReLU does not work, we can shift to leaky ReLU or parameterized ReLU. ReLU is usually used in the hidden layers. So do not use ReLU in the input or the output layers. And always try using either softmax or sigmoid when it comes to classification problems. Now when to use which activation function totally depends upon the problem statement. These are some of the generalized ways of using activation functions which work most of the time. So this is something that you should remember. And yes, so in the next class we will now talk about optimization. And we have learnt about gradient descent,